All right, let's try that one again. Hi, my name is Barry Selby. Welcome to my daily Facebook Live talk. This is number 57. In fact, this is Messages from the Masculine, number 57. To Inspire the Feminine Heart is the subtitle. And this one is, and hoping, of course, this one stays live. I just got cut off earlier, so we'll try it again. This one's going to be touching to an area that's a bit more risque, perhaps, certainly more rich with possibilities. I'll put it that way. Before I start, let me introduce myself. My name is Barry Selby. I am a passionate champion for the divine feminine, hence these talks and this topic. I'm also a #1 best-selling author, speaker, and a guide to help strong, successful women attract amazing relationships, because I'm a relationship attraction expert. And the topic today came out of, I was listening to an audiobook earlier. In fact, I was listening to Daniel Laporte's White Hot Truth, and chapter 12 was what I was listening to. And in it, she's talking about when the sacred goes sideways. And the chapter really evoked, provoked, inspired my thoughts. So I wanted to talk about it here, because she was talking about stuff that I have the same or similar understanding of about sacred and sexual, and how they go together, and how people choose to express them in different ways in partnership and in polyamory. Yes, we're going to get into that today as well. A lot of my friends are burners, and she mentioned in the chapter, and I have noticed too, a lot of my friends who do go to Burning Man have a view on relationships often that is one of expansiveness beyond the confines, in their languaging, of monogamy. In fact, I was at a live event 6 years ago, when I was on the panel discussion afterwards, and I was on this panel 4 different times during the run of this show, and every single time the same question came up, because there are a lot of burners there. Now, sorry, let me phrase that. Not because there are a lot of burners there, but there happened to be a lot of people from Burning Man who were there, and I did notice the question came from individuals in that group. So I'm not saying all burners are like this, so please let me qualify that. But they asked me the question, which was, which is better, polyamory or monogamy? And when it was my turn, before I was in the panel, what came out of my mouth when I responded to that question was, you can go wide, you can go deep. And that's what I said. And the member of the audience, every single time, said, what does that mean? And the first time that happened, I was in a place of going, I don't know, let me check, because it literally came through me, like just straight through downloaded. And so I wanted to explain what I really got clear about in my own, as it was coming through me, I sort of was along for the ride, and I got to understand what was being said. That what I'm aware of the truth, and is what I believe, is that there is, I can say this, there is the possibility of going into a deep monogamous relationship that is infinite in its expression, exploration, and power. The time you spend with that person can be a perpetual journey of discovery and evolution and of sacredness. When you're with multiple people, you don't have enough time on the planet to do all of that with every person you meet, or every person you're in a sexual relationship with. If you're with 4 people, you need 4 amounts of the time, if that makes sense. So if you're in monogamous, try that again. If you're in a monogamous relationship, the amount of time that you have in life with that person is incredibly valuable to go deep as you wish to go in that relationship. The sacred, in fact. So that was my explanation in that environment. And it still holds true for me to a large degree. And when I was listening to Daniel Laporte's audiobook earlier today, and she was talking about this thing about where she was talking to this woman in the group. This is a wedding she was at, where there were 4 or 5 women getting together, which is what women do together in a relationship. When they're in wedding stuff, they sort of hang out and converse and go deep. And sometimes we men would be so excited to listen in on these conversations, but I'm not sure if that would be appropriate for us. And the one reason the women get to go deep is because there aren't any men around. So I understand, women, you need your space for this. I very much understand. But what was being talked about in the conversation was about this woman's relationship with her partner, doing a lot of tantra and going deep and having incredible expansion and opening. And she was in the place where she was saying to her friends that her partner was looking as the next step was to have a polygamous or polyamorous relationship, as in seeing other people. And she was saying, as a way of justifying it, that she was feeling that it was the next edge for her, in a way, to grow through. And personally, when I heard that, and I'm sure, and this was part of the story, so I'm not blaming Danielle by any means, I'm just, my experience of this was, it was a cringe inside. Because in relationship, there are so many levels of edge to grow beyond, to stretch beyond your comfort zones, to go to explore in depth of intimacy, of connection, of transcendence that can happen with your clothes on, let alone in sexual relationship. So some edges aren't edges that you necessarily need to cross. And that was kind of what the upshot of this conversation was, that when they got down to the bottom line was, this woman said that she doesn't really want her guy sleeping with other women. I wouldn't want my woman sleeping with other men. It's not about right, wrong, it's a preference. And by the way, I'm talking about the point of view of preference here, not about what's right or what's wrong. I can speak from what I believe in for myself and what I personally subscribe to. You may have different beliefs, and I totally appreciate that. So when I said in the title, sacred or sexual, either or both, I believe firmly that sacred and sexual are interwoven. Absolutely. And yes, and again, I'm remembering what I heard in the chapter that I was listening to, that there is the point of view where if you're holding sexuality as sacred, that you wish to hold yourself distinct from a relationship opportunities to own your sacred space, so you don't have sex until you're really ready for that, really true to that. And on the other side of the spectrum, when you've been alone too long, or in your partnership you haven't had sex for a long time, sometimes just doing wham bam thank you ma'am is the best choice you could make. So there's perspectives. But what I mean in the sacred and sexual, in my experience, is that sexuality, and it's funny as I'm about to say it, I'm going, yes, I remember, that's what Danielle said too, is the possibility to create unity between two individuals. And this is Tantra as well. It is this opportunity to breathe together, to connect in oneness, to really express a unification of each other that is greater than the sum of the parts, as it were. It's an opportunity that you can really explore beyond your own boundaries, physical expression, your physical self, into the wonder of another person. That your energy field is bigger than that the two of you together expands into a much bigger scale. That is a sacred experience. Sex isn't just intercourse, far from it. And I used to say it's like making love is different from having sex. Well, in a way it is, because when you're making love or expressing love in that physical, intimate, sensual, sexual connection, it is much bigger than just having sex. And so I'm putting so much stuff on the table and just seeing if there's any particular points I want to really like highlight or speak to. I'm wondering now. Sorry, I'm just sitting. By the way, just in case you haven't watched any of my talks before, these talks tend to go for a certain point in time, then they stop. But I'm feeling there's a pause, not a stop this time. So I'm just seeing where it comes to. For those people who choose polyamory, okay, it's coming out this way. Polyamory is for some people, as mentioned in the comments, it is a sacred experience too for many people who do choose polyamory. However, there's the opportunity to hold sacred every single sexual relationship you have, which is different from plunging into the depths of the soul with one person for eternity. Obviously they're different. But the recognition that I must speak to is that polyamory is something that if you choose it, own it. Don't do it because there's peer pressure. That again, I'm referring back to what Danielle said. Polyamory is something that is a sacred choice as well, in terms of responding to that. If that's something that really is, you feel honoring, is a self-honoring choice to make. Some people are in polyamory because their partner dragged them into it. Yes, I'm going to say that because that's happened before. Not always the case, not the only thing that's happening, but the recognition is that there is a choice point. Now, I know a lot of people, and a lot of friends of mine, especially in San Diego, I know quite a few people who are in the sex positive community, which is what I've heard is the new term for polyamory. Personally, for me, I look at it as being different from what I choose. I'll say it that way. I hold for myself that unless I want to sleep around, because that's the way I see it for myself, and that's my choice, not yours, that's what I'm feeling. But what I'm feeling is that when I want to be in sacred unity, sexual sacred connection, it for me must be one-on-one. Now, maybe it's a naive way of looking at things, I don't know, but it feels right for me. And so I guess the bottom line I want to say to anyone watching this, all of you watching this, that I really recommend, one, you choose for yourself, absolutely, that you hold yourself to the highest self-regard, and that your sexual choices are from that place, so that you're not influenced by other people's encouragement or persuasion or coercion, but you choose it from the highest place in you. So if polyamory is for you and that's your choice, so be it. If monogamy is for you and it's your highest choice, so be it. Stay true to yourself always. That's the bottom line I was getting to. Okay, so right, I was just waiting for that thing to click in place. It just did. To thine own self be true, to quote Shakespeare. So this is just simply a distillation of what I remember listening to this afternoon on Daniel Laporte's chapter from her book, White Hot Truth, which I had to listen to. So, and it really hit to the core of what I believe too. So it was enjoyable. I may tag her in this and let her know I'm talking about it. But I wanted this to be for you so you can understand it. So just to recap, this is number 57 in a series of Facebook Live talks I've been doing that are messages from the masculine to inspire the feminine heart. This one is, most of the talks now are basically for men and women. If they're specific for women, I'll say that in the title. But this one is really for everybody to consider and think about. If you feel there's value in this, please share this out. If there's somebody who thinks should watch this, please share it with them. I do recommend you watch my archives, my previous ones. I've done 56 up to now, and this is 57. They're on my business page as well as on my website, which is barryselby.com. If you look at the video blog, that's where they live. So I hope you find value in this. And as always, as I already said it, to thine own self be true. I'll be back again tomorrow for number 58, sticking to my commitment to myself. This is actually in the middle of a 21-day challenge right now. And I trust that you'll take care of yourself. All right? So that's it. Signing off, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.